Food safety is definitely a public health issue, and when you hear about 2 persons dying because of anthrax disease, for instance, in Boko in the Upper East district of the in the Upper East region of the northern region, then you know that it's a very worrying situation. It's also, this is not just Boko. It's happening in other areas, and that's why we want to pay attention to this. A lot of us also don't really care where we buy food or where we get how the food is being preserved. We just go and we just eat. So this is a conversation we're having today with the head of public health at the veterinary services, Dr. Bashiru Boy Kikimoto. A very lovely guest, really. It's always a pleasure having him here on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
How are your dogs doing?
Oh,
the last time we had a dog conversation.
Yes. My dogs are dead. They are still alive.
Yeah? Cool. We thank God. All right, so let's talk about this anthrax disease.
Yeah.
How is it widely spread? In which of the regions are we recording cases?
Yeah, thank you very much for alerting or allowing Ghanaians to know much about this anthrax disease. Actually, before the olden days, I think a lot of Ghanaians knew about anthrax. But now, because of modernization and fast food and other things, people are forgetting that this disease is still around. And it is something that is around, mostly was around the northern part, but this it has come to even Ashanti region and Volta region, even Greater Accra. We have outbreaks of anthrax, which is not supposed to be so. Why do I say it's not supposed to be so? Because we produce anthrax spore vaccines in Ghana ourselves.
Okay.
And we even export to other neighboring West African countries to vaccinate the animals against anthrax. And we do it yearly. And that is why maybe the situation has calmed down now. Last year, 2015, at the just ended annual review meeting in Techman, we realized that Ashanti region alone, they had over 30 outbreaks of anthrax. And out of that, there were 25 human exposures. And out of that, 15 people died.
In 2015 alone?
2015 alone, in Ashanti region. And yet, we didn't hear about it. In Upper East last year, there were 5 outbreaks and 4 people died. So you can see that the health delivery system in Upper East, because of the tight collaboration between the veterinary public health and the human public health, these diseases easily come up for attention.
Okay.
In Volta region last year, we just had 1 outbreak, but no human death. In Upper West, we had 5 outbreaks, no human death. So when it comes in the animal population and it is diagnosed very early, it helps the vet to vaccinate the rest of the headlet.
Okay.
So the only problem that we are having this time is where people eat dead animals. That is where the problem will come from.
Dead animals?
Yes.
Well, you have to kill it before you can eat it.
Yes, and one of the things I wanted to talk about the anthrax is that when anthrax attacks an animal, or an animal is suffering from it, it is very difficult for it even to reach the slaughterhouse.
Oh.
So for the slaughterhouse, when you go and veterinary, they do the meat inspection and other things, you are likely that it is prevented because of the short incubation period or the period the disease has to manifest before the animal dies. And don't forget that these animals are also transported long distances. So the weakness and immunodepression will allow the anthrax to just pop up very fast.
Okay.
So slaughterhouses, the chances are limited. Limited.
So this animal disease, how do they get exposed to it? How can they be infected?
Yeah, actually, it's the disease that affects most animals that eat grass. You know, the bacteria is Bacillus anthracis, but it exists in the form of a spore. You remember when we were going to primary school, we used to have a certain fruit called hibiscus. And the flowers, the pod, when it becomes dry, we just open it and the seeds will fall off. That's how this one is. So when it falls off, the spore will be there for years. More than 10 years, 20 years will be there. But don't forget that in the rainy season, people go and farm. So sometimes they can farm the spores inside or excavate them outside. And then when the grass grows, when the animal is eating, you know there are some animals that eat the grass from the top, like the horse. Unlike the goat that just take the thing and pull it out. And that is how they just get infected. Yeah. So horses will get it, are likely less to get it as compared to sheep, goat, and cows because of the way they even eat the grass. Yeah.
So this is one disease that, if you like, you cannot avoid.
You cannot. No. You cannot avoid. A lot of people have been dying from it. Yeah, I remember there was a year 2000 and something. Somebody those times that our mothers would cook the food and bring to you when you're in the hospital. There was a doctor was taking care of a patient who was suffering from anthrax. But you know, the manifestation of anthrax will depend on how you have acquired it. If it is a skin type of anthrax, it will manifest in itself differently. But if it is also the systemic one, it will also manifest itself differently. If it is the one which is affecting the gastrointestinal tract or the bowel, it also manifests itself differently. So depending upon which doctor is taking care of the patient, he may not be, let me excuse my word, he may not be able to immediately know that this is exactly anthrax I'm taking care of, because he may be looking at something. And the woman was always bringing the meat every day to the man, while they were also giving the antibiotics treatment. But what we have forgotten in Ghana is that antibiotics is good. For 60 days cover is very good. But the problem is that the toxins which are in you normally is what will kill you. Because this is something which produces poison inside your body. And then it goes through all your blood system, it goes to your heart will not function the way it is. You have liver failure, you know, all your lungs, and that kind of. So that is how normally it affects the human being.
So this person eventually died because, I mean, the thing was still being introduced into his system, even though they were trying to fight it.
Yeah, I think that the doctor, one of them said, I think he worked in the north before. One of them, he called his colleague. He said, there's something I'm not, you know, sometimes they consult. And then I think the colleague suspected. And then they were able to save the man. So sometimes, once you're already on antibiotics, the likelihood of you dying quickly is limited. But it also depends on the form.
Yeah.
If the systemic one, where the toxins, the poison is already too much in the system, there's nothing antibiotic can do. Yeah.
Okay. So which of the animals would usually be infected or exposed to this kind of disease? Because I want us to relate it to how we humans also tend to get exposed to this disease.
Yeah, actually what happens is that when the animal eats the grass, you pick the spore inside. Then the gastric juices or the digestive juices in the body will digest the spore to open up. When the bacteria comes out, that's the time it now starts multiplying in the system. And it's transported through the blood, and the toxin that it produces, it actually leads to coma or shock or death.
Wow.
So when we also, for example, the animal has this, and then you also, you don't know, and you take the meat, for example, then you also ingest the bacteria in you. And then that one will now cause the bowel type, intestinal type. That's what the one you eat. That one, that's what it causes.
But you know, we cook the meat before we eat, or it doesn't matter.
No, it matters. But you know, there's sometimes the spores, they're hard. You know, when they say spore, it's a hard thing. So sometimes, if you hit, you may not be able to inactivate totally. And if most often people are not able to cook properly. So that is.
Is it something that you can see? Can you see with your eyes?
No, only microscope.
Okay.
Only microscope.
Okay. Wow. So why do we? I mean, we know the history of this. We know how this manifests itself. Yeah. Why do we keep dying of it?
Oh, we keep dying because, as I told you, the manifestation of the disease may not be able to let the physician be able to identify immediately. For example, the cutaneous type, it's just a sore. So you go to the hospital, they will see it like it's an ulcer, black. But it's a sore, but when you press, it doesn't pain you. If you knock yourself, it doesn't pain you. Even blood will be coming, but it doesn't pain you at all. So you must suspect that you have anthrax. Immediately you need to start the medicine. But the systemic one, the one that you inhale the spores and it goes into your system, it is trapped by the lungs. And the lungs also have some fighters, soldiers in them, called macrophages. So they will pick the spores and kill them.
Okay.
But, you know, when soldiers go to war, not all die at once. So the strong ones will penetrate. So when they penetrate, now they become harder. You know, every organism tries to find a way of how to survive too. So now they become very aggressive and produce more and more, and then the toxin spreads immediately. That one, you will die. In fact, that one, about 95% you will die. There's nothing you can do.
Wow.
Nothing.
How long does it live in your body for?
Oh, for example, it takes 1 to 5 days minimum, a maximum. And then sometimes, depending upon also the type, it can last for 60 days in you without knowing.
Okay.
Yes, it depends.
So, you know, how many types would you say we have?
We have the 3 types. That the skin one, then the systemic one, the one that when you breathe in, that's the most dangerous one. That one there, you easily die. Because before you die, you see that blood will be oozing from your nose, from your mouth. It's like Ebola. If you see humanity, it's Ebola. Yes, that's how it looks like. So that is why I say that getting it in the slaughterhouse is very difficult, because before the animal even reaches there,
it's already gone.
It's gone. It kills very fast.
So you mentioned the skin, the systemic.
The systemic one, that's the inhalation one, and then the barrel one. Yeah.
But how do you inhale? How does it?
It's a spore. It's like it can be blown by wind during farming, or maybe the animal, the hair, the fur and the skin and all that. That's why when we are exporting hides and skin for drums, those who play drums, easily they can get it, and those who make the drums, they can easily get anthrax. So when they bring to veterinary, what we do, that we take samples and we check. Because if you look at the European Union Constitution, Chapter 5, Section C, it indicates what you need to do when you want to bring even a drum skin to the EU countries. So it is a very serious thing, and because it is used also as a biological weapon. You know, all the time that people don't understand is that this anthrax can be used to kill people. If you are working in the laboratory and you culture it, that's why when we are questioning it, we don't let anybody, even we scarcely do it, we just don't let people to come in. Say, you have to trust people. If not, if you can release the bacteria, it comes out, all the workers there will have it and die. So people use it as a weapon. Biological weapon. Yes. So in Pontamala Veterinary Laboratory, which is the central laboratory of veterinary science in Ghana, that is where we produce the vaccine for the whole of West Africa to vaccinate the animals. Yeah.
But we can't forgive ourselves. We produce the vaccine, yet we tend to die out of the same thing. I mean, that shouldn't happen. Do we have we set a target, maybe 0 tolerance for anthrax?
I think we have set a target now for rabies 0, but for anthrax, because of the nature of the spore can live in the soil for 20 years. So if for 10 years you don't have it in, and just give you for example, Joy FM, you may think the disease is gone, but the spore is incubating. So after some time, it will just burst up, and then the disease will come again. So that's why the veterinary doctors have been having challenges, because they control it, they vaccinate, it is silent. But because of the nature of the spore, it can resurface. Some of them during farming season, when the people are farming, that's the time they bring the spores up. And then the rain to wash it into the sea or into a river, where the animals, when they are drinking, can also pick it again. Okay. So it is a form of environmentally oriented disease as well.
And it's connected, well connected.
Well connected with grass, with water, with air. So it is a dangerous disease, very, very dangerous. And the worst thing of it is when you see somebody dying from it, where blood is oozing from the nose, from the all the orifices, all the openings. Terrible.
When you report late, can you still survive it?
Oh no, even this one, as I told, the systemic one, you may even die before even you get to the hospital. But the cutaneous ones, the skin one, and then the barrel one, that one is manageable. But the barrel one, the problem is that because it is in your intestines and the stomach side, it easily allows your bowel to open fast. and then all drainage, you cannot stop it. And that's how you can easily also die very fast.
Okay.
Everything of yours goes out.
Okay. So I know that you have some statistics to share with us.
Yeah, as I was telling you, last year, for example, in Ashanti region, 15 people died of anthrax. In Upper East region, 4 people died last year of anthrax. I think that so far last year, this was the results we had.
So the highest is the Ashanti region.
Ashanti, yes.
But do we know what the problem is?
The problem could be late reporting and also maybe misdiagnosis, as I told you, depending upon the form. A physician can easily make a mistake, depending upon the form. For example, there are a lot of doctors who have worked in the north before. That the former director of public health, Dr. Amankwa, he had worked in the north, he was exposed to some of these things. So when you see it, it's easier for you. For example, if somebody has never seen Buru ulcer before, he's in the north, he has never seen Buru ulcer, which is mostly located in Eastern region, in Sawam and other areas. Or maybe if you are not exposed to a disease that causes infertility, like brucellosis, when you go to North Tongue, you go to North Kintampo, those areas where it is very rampant, where you get a lot of young men and young women not giving birth because of brucellosis. You will not be able to know. So sometimes medical practice generally, experience also counts.
Yeah.
And that's why when you practice in the field for long and you are lecturing your students, you give them practical examples.
Yeah.
That when they go to the exam, they don't even need to. They just remember Mama V and they just write the whole thing for
They
you.
remember you. So help us understand. I mean, if you've been exposed to it, how would you begin to exhibit?
Yeah, for example, if it is the cutaneous type, it will start first like a small swell on your skin.
But it's not painful.
It's not painful. There will be blisters. Then later you see that it's a sore. The sore will heal at first, but there will be a black spot in the sore. And then blood will be oozing under the black spot. Then you know that it's anthrax. That's the skin type. But because it doesn't kill fast. But the systemic one, the inhalation one, that one, the spores are there. And when you inhale from an animal hair or something, or any other source, and you inhale it, you go into the lungs. The lungs will be trapped. The lungs have some soldiers who are fighting for it. Even we have soldiers fighting for us. That's why we don't easily die like that too, unless your immune system is down. So they will fight and kill most of them. But the strong one will penetrate. When they penetrate, they will now multiply very fast and start producing toxin. It's the toxin that actually creates the problem, because if you go to hospital, that is why those that know, they add a lot of drip also to you and make sure they try to see how they can.
Because then your immune system is weak.
Yes, it's weak, and then the toxin is too much. So antibiotics will kill the bacteria, but antibiotics cannot kill the toxin. So you need to find other ways of detoxifying the person. And then the barrel one, because it's straight away into your intestine, it just opens into the anal orifice. And then that one, you see blood oozing straight away. I'm telling you, you will die within a short period. It's a very dangerous disease, very, very dangerous.
So if you have somebody in the family, because we've recorded a few deaths, if you have somebody in the family or in the community dying, what are the others supposed to do, those around you?
In fact, anthrax actually is not like, you cannot get it from human being to another human being. That's the good thing about it. Most of the diseases that we actually, as public health officers, are afraid of is those that when they move from animal to human being, and then it becomes pandemic. That's the one we fear. But these ones, you can actually pick the person, you can send the person to hospital. The hospital will take over everything from you. It's not something so, unless you have a cut. If you have a cut, and then some of the spores or bacteria enter, biomass you get. That's why we those working in the laboratories, they are mostly at risk. You see, like America, US, for example, they already have the vaccine for it too. But they will not, because they also know they have like enemies who use bacterial warfare. So when you use on their people, they will release the thing and vaccinate them. But they will just keep quiet.
Okay.
Yes. So that is how the whole world is prepared.
So what is there a routine vaccination exercise that you have to do if you've got such animals in your home? Every year.
Actually, the endemic areas are the northern part, but as I told you, it's in Ashanti, it's in Volta. Last year in Volta, we had one case.
Because Greater Accra also recorded a case last year.
Greater Accra also recorded
even though nobody died.
Yes, even so, you see, it's not supposed to have come down like this, but you see it is now everywhere because of movement of animals from other places and the interaction of people. That's why it's like that. Yeah, I think it's a very serious disease.
Okay, so finally, what would you want to leave on our minds? And I would love if you talk about us in the home.
Yeah, what I will advise is that I will advise everybody to get your meat that you eat from a shop that gets its meat from the abattoir, because after the abattoir we have the veterinary doctors are there doing the meat inspection, so you are safe. And every other person who has an animal, even if you want to slaughter it, it is good you let a veterinary doctor have an inspection, because you don't know what the animal has and you just kill it and eat. So that's why everybody must go to the slaughterhouse. We check the thing for you, your family is safe. The other thing I would like to say is that I think that Ghanaians, most people just like killing the animals in the houses. It's not the best, because there are a lot of diseases that take time to manifest and they affect our lives. There are over 3,558 diseases that are common to animal and human being. So we must be very, very careful.
So even the chicken that you want to use for your light soup, you should go and you should find the abattoir and
no,
go
that one is too small to carry it.
Okay.
Because if you compare the cost of transporting the chicken to, but you can buy another chicken and feed your family. But the chicken diseases, apart from salmonellosis, which causes typhoid fever, apart from that, the other diseases are mild to human being.
Okay.
And then maybe the avian influenza. But that one, you know, the bird will not reach the abattoir at the slaughterhouse. It will die before it reaches there. So I will advise Ghanaians that get meat from approved veterinary approved meat that you can buy, and then I think you are safe from some of these unwanted deaths.
Do we
cook your meat
do we stamp the meats in Ghana?
Actually, we stamp not all the places, because don't forget that we have different types of slaughter facilities. We have the abattoir, which is with only about 3 in Ghana. Kumasi one, Accra one, and then the Jifanko, the new one in Medina. So there are only 3. The others are slaughterhouses. So the slaughterhouses are very many.
What's the difference?
The difference is that the abattoir is a complex, just European standard. The slaughterhouse is a place where it is just a normal structure for a district assembly to allow people to slaughter their animals.
Okay.
So sometimes the unclean and clean part are not well demarcated.
Okay.
And then they don't also hoist their animals like other places. But the Nsawam slaughterhouse is very good. I've been there, I'm impressed. Most of the slaughterhouses I've been to, have been very impressed. But we have the slaughter slab. That one is like a local area where maybe a market day they just come.
Okay, so the best is the abattoir.
It's the best.
If you can, okay,
yeah,
all right. Dr. Kikimoto, usually when you come here, I don't want you to go, but we have to end. So I would like to say thank you so much for your time.
I'm also grateful to you. Multimedia, Joy News have been people that are well with since 2002. I enjoy your company. Let's educate Ghanaians on what they should not do, because whenever we lose one life, it goes affect our country.
Sure.
And once we want to change lives of people, we must do it through our website. So that is what you and me are doing, to change and touch lives of people.
We're grateful that you could make it.
Thank
That's the head of public health at the veterinary services, Dr. Bashiru Boy Kikimoto. Stay with us. There's still a lot more here on the show.